Welcome to our new episode of Investors Insight Podcast. This is your host, Sadaf Abbas from Oak Business Consultant, and our guest is Philippe Chalu. He's have experience in 18 years of experience and the world of investment, fundraising, and budgeting, treasury, and capital market. Philip has a wealth of knowledge and extensive network of contacts in Middle East and Africa. In this episode, we will delve into his career, insights, and experience in the world of investment and capital market. So, Philip, can you share a bit about your educational background and what led you to pursue a career in finance investments?
First of all, good morning, and thank you very much, Sada, for hosting me in your podcast. Yeah, so in fact, how I started, because I did first telecommunication engineer because I was good in math and physics in high school, and then while at university, I started reading a lot about stock market. I was reading all the newspaper, and really I got a lot of interest. But I realized I said, okay, I studied engineering, but the concept, the theoretical concept in engineering, telecommunication, and finance are the same. All the mathematic tools are exactly the same. The only difference is the underlying. In telecommunication, you talk about signal. In finance, you talk about the stock market, about interest rates. So for me, it was really easy to make the jump, I would say, from engineering to
This is a
finance.
huge jump, Philip, means one from coming from the engineering background and now you are into the finance world. So this is a huge jump.
Yes, it's a big jump.
Like,
And so I did a master of finance at in France after telecommunication
hmm,
engineering, and this is how I just started my career in finance.
awesome. So you have advisory role at Othium Holding Company in BCD group of companies. Could you tell us more about your current role and what is it about?
So at the moment, I would say my main job occupation is the all same holding company. So I am advising the CIO, the Chief Investment Officer of the family office. Al Hussein is a very well-known company group in Saudi. They are the largest operator of supermarket, low-cost supermarket in the kingdom. And a few years ago, they decided to set up a family office. So we are managing the wealth of the founder. And before and still in parallel, I still getting like I would say consultancy project on the side with BCD. It's like an investment advisory boutique, mainly based out of Dubai, and we do a lot of capital raising, corporate finance, and investment management also for a lot of families and funds in the region mainly.
My third question is you have a strong network of contacts, including corporate, financial institutions, family offices, high net worth individuals, and government entities. How has your network contributed to your success of fundraising business development?
Look, my clients are all part of my network, so my network is everything for me. Without a network, obviously, I cannot work. And to build a network, it's about building trust, understanding their needs, and I would say bringing the adequate advice for the client and obviously the suitable solution. It takes time, it takes years to build
Hmm.
reputation, and sometimes you can destroy it in just a second. If you do a big mistake, if you're not ethical, ethics is very important. If you're not ethical
Ethics.
or you become too greedy, you lose everything.
So the key point is success is your that the ethical point, and you need to be very honest and trust. Yes.
Yes, and especially in this part of the world, whether it's Middle East or even Southeast Asia, people sometimes they become too greedy. They want to make quick
Mm.
money. You can make quick money, but your the reputation will be destroyed. So, and for me, ethics is, I think, what will keep me running for the rest of my career. I just don't want to do just one big project, make money, and become the pariah or the person that nobody wants to do business with.
Mhm. So the main thing, I totally agree with this, Philip, that you should have the connection with your clients. You need to feel the pain what the client is having, and then give the services and then give offer what you are having in your plate. So the main thing is
Yes,
that you need to understand the problem of the client and
of
then
course, it's all about.
come to the solutions. Yeah.
Definitely. So you need to understand the client first, what he needs, and this is what will make the difference, because a lot of people are advising client, but you need to bring what something which suits him, not suits me. Because obviously, okay, I want to make money, but ultimately I'm paid by my client. So my client is everything for me. So when I get, the right understanding, this is how I'm going to be able, to bring the right advice. And sometimes, again, you see advisors, they make more money because they work for their own interest. But for me, I work for the interest of the client. This is a big difference.
This is a huge difference. So my fourth question, Philip, with you is that many entrepreneurs are curious about what investors look for in a startup. Could you outline your key criteria or attributes that make a startup stand out to you?
Yeah, definitely. Look, some people, often forget what is a startup. For me, a startup is first of all about the people. When you invest in a startup, which means that you believe in the people who are building that startup. Once you have the people, then they are working on a product or on a service. And the most important thing down the line is the vision. And the problem, a lot of people, they invest in a startup, but they don't see the exit plan. You have a startup today, great, great product, excellent. But let's say in 5 years' time, what's the exit? What are they going to do with that startup? What are they going to do with the product? And the problem, they just get excited, they work on something, and then they realize after a few years, where is it leading us? Nowhere. And especially these days, you need to understand that the world keeps constantly changing. Just an example, a few years ago, everybody was talking about blockchain, about
Hmm.
cryptocurrencies. It was the hype, all the conferences were about blockchain. Today, who speaks about blockchain? Nobody. Today, for example, it's all about AI, artificial intelligence. And we realize that artificial intelligence has much more added value that is bringing on a day-to-day basis potentially for people than blockchain. Blockchain is a great technology for especially for payment, but it's not impacting our day-to-day life. Just GPT is a game changer for everybody. So that's why in the startup and I would say in the tech environment, everybody's moving so fast, all the things are moving, and ultimately it's all about the value of a startup. How do you value a startup? It's about the people, as I said, about the intellectual property, about the clients, and ultimately how you're going to monetize all of that.
The main thing for the AI is when it is coming to the world, AI, so everybody was very scared about this because so many jobs we just closing out, like a content editor, like a video scripter, means you have the content. All the designing jobs are going as well because of the AI technology. The main thing is that if the job is going, but new job is also coming, right? So the main thing we need to adopt new technology so we can enhance the business performance. We enhance our processes. So I hope so. My audience will use ChatGPT 4 or the Brad or any other AI tool to increase the performance of your business process rather than to be scared of the new technology. So my fifth question, Philip, outside of your professional life, what are some of your favorite hobbies or activities that you enjoy in your free time? I hope so you will have a free time.
Yeah, yeah, of course. So first of all, I have two kids which are growing, so I love
Awesome.
spending times with them, especially on the weekends.
Mhm.
And for me, because we live in the constant, I would say, crazy world, I need to disconnect. And when I disconnect, I go to the
Absolutely.
mountain. I'm a mountaineering person. We have also dogs. I take the dogs. I do climbing. I do mountaineering. I do skiing. So for me, escaping the urban life and going to the mountain is the best thing for me, just to completely disconnect.
Awesome. Yes, I totally agree with you. I have three kids, and the smaller one is just 10 months old. And
Ah, wow, no,
these
mine are 2 years
three,
old. Ah,
my first one is 10 years old. So this is a huge gap. After 10 years, I'm having a new baby. So
yeah, I
seriously,
understand.
kids basically give you a space, give you a time. This is very
Definitely,
important.
and
Yeah, yeah. So when my
uh,
free time is my kids and my painting.
and I
So
can
I
tell you,
hope.
my kid, they're 2 years old. They know how to use YouTube. Imagine.
Yes, absolutely. Absolutely. They are very into the new technology. So we
Yeah.
need to very, keen to learn from them as well, how they are utilizing the whole gadgets. So my sixth question is that what are your future career aspiration and goals in the world of investment? Are there any exciting projects or ventures on this on the horizon?
Definitely, for example, now with Al Same, what I've been doing is we've been
Mm-hmm.
advising them, on the, I would say, personal investment for the family. But I would say the next level is to bring those the underlying investments of the funds into the group. So for example, Al is a group well known in the supermarket business. So now some of the private equity funds, underlying portfolio companies, they have, I
Hmm.
would say, activities and they have businesses which are also suitable to the group. So the idea for us now is to bridge that expertise which are embedded within the portfolio companies, to the group, because ultimately what you want is to enhance the value proposition and bringing potentially also new brands, to the group. So it's all about developing, I would say, a portfolio of assets and integrating them within the main business activity, let's say, of the group I'm currently advising.
Awesome. So, can you share a challenging moment or setback in your career, and how you overcome it?
That's that's a great question. In fact, part of my consultancy project with BCD, around 6 years ago, I was working in Iraq. I was advising a big international group in logistics. They had a tender, with the government, and obviously they had the local partners, so they won the tender to do a big project in Iraq. But Iraq, what they quickly discovered is, the local partner had to bribe some of the government officials, to win the project. And obviously, the competitors knew about it and they started to go into the tribunal. And, for about a year, I was just, bringing lawyers. And in fact, as the international group was completely unaware of, I would say, the local partner, I would say, bad behavior. They never knew that, they had to bribe people to get the contract. Otherwise, they would have never got into that project. So clearing the name, as I said, all about reputation. And sometimes your reputation can be destroyed, not because of you, because of your partner. And this is very, very, for me, very key. And it was very difficult because they had to bring a lot of lawyers. It took about almost 18 months to clear the name. So now, always I say when I do business, it's all about choosing the right partner because you can control what you do, but sometimes you cannot control
You
what your
can't
partner
control,
does.
yeah, yeah, absolutely. Even you can't control what his team is doing. So the main thing is that you need
Yes.
to have the whole observation for the partners, for the stakeholders, for the team members, because somebody is making mistakes, everything will be gone with you as well. Yeah, this is a very difficult part. I can feel it. You have
So,
done. Okay. So could you share your perspective on the growing importance of ESG criteria investment decisions?
look, ESG now is a hot topic. Everybody talks about ESG
Yeah,
everywhere in the world.
I mean,
Look, sustainability, transparency, protecting the workforce obviously are key trends, especially in Europe. I would say the Europeans are the pioneer when it comes to ESG. What we've seen, especially I would say in some Middle Eastern countries or even in the US, let's say like in Texas, for example, areas, let's say where are there big, let's say commodity producers, whether it's oil, whether it's soft commodities, or sometimes whether it's just steel, iron. Sometimes they have to destroy the environment. Sometimes they have to abuse, about the labor. So those countries sometimes or those regions are a bit reluctant to bring ESG. But ultimately, when we see, the the climate issues that we're facing, ESG are becoming more and more, important. It's a
important.
one-way
Yeah.
trend. You can't just go against that
Now you can't
trend.
deny it. Yeah. Global
And
warming, climate change. Yeah.
it costs money, to be frank with you. And for example, where I work now in the Middle East, it's taking sometimes, not because they're not aware, but you need training to build the right expertise to implement those frameworks. Because today, to have ESG framework is quite complicated. you bring consultants, and you need to train your own workforce. So this is, I would say, the major challenge. For example, now in the Middle East, is about training the employees on ESG criteria. So this is where I'm focusing now.
Awesome. So I would like to know more about Philip for the ESG criteria for the workforce, because maybe we will implement in our company as well, because we are providing services to international clients. So maybe we will make sure that we are also doing the ESG criteria for the workforce as well. So we will discuss it in this topic in the next episode, inshallah. So my ninth question is that what trends do you foresee in the world of investment and capital markets in the upcoming years, and how do you stay updated?
Look, the world today is not the world I would say even 2 years ago.
No, absolutely.
Why? What the big difference today is inflation. Inflation is back, and inflation is going to remain for some point for the foreseeable future.
Mm.
And rates today in the US, rates are above 5%. Look, we lived in a completely crazy bubble over the last decade whereby rates were at zero, you know. It was just crazy. And if you see now the valuation reset of the market, why equities are going down, why rates are going up, it's just a re-equilibrium, you know, because what we've seen before, it was just absolutely abnormal. You know, the amount of money supply in the world just created a huge bubble, and the deficits, you know, are unsustainable. So definitely there will be some cleanup on that side. And for me to stay updated, you know, thank God we have internet. So it's all about reading on internet. It's all about webinars. You know, it's like yours, for example. You know, you will be learning from me. I will be learning from other podcasts, and obviously conferences and seminars. Now, thank God, in the post-COVID world, things are getting better, so we can meet in person. And for me, the face-to-face is still very important to really feel what's going on. You know, what are
Connected.
the latest concepts?
Awesome. So in your experience, what are common mistakes or misconceptions that investors make when navigating the world of capital markets?
What we've seen, you know, over the last decade, it was a crazy bubble. And
Absolutely.
people, they forgot the basics of finance. The basics, for example, like Milton Friedman, a very well-known US
Mm.
economist, used to say, there is no free lunch. So money at zero was just a free lunch, and it cannot remain for free forever. Second, people were always thinking, and that's, I would say, the human nature, all about short-term gains. People, they just want to make money, not tomorrow, today. And sometimes you need to have a long-term vision. You cannot just make quick money and that's it. You know, it's sometimes it works, most of the time, you know, it doesn't. And there's a famous German proverb which says, trees don't grow to the sky. So people were thinking that, like Katie Wood, that Bitcoin would reach $500,000. You know, when you think about it, it's just ridiculous than, you know, the market cap of Bitcoin would be that higher than the market cap of the entire equity market in the world. You know, when you think about
Yeah,
it for like a few
yeah,
seconds, you
yeah.
say it's not sustainable.
Mhm.
So for me, it's all back to fundamentals.
And this is let me come back to the capital market for the blockchain or cryptocurrency. The huge capital equity are in the whole world. Every capital market stay in one side, and the whole cryptocurrency market will be stay in the other side. Still, the total value of that market is too much high. So we can compare the whole market. But again, in the cryptocurrency, there are so many people who lost their money as well, with the high potential of risk as well. So again, the finance background, the finance knowledge you should have when you're doing the trading something like this. So Philip, again, like you, where you were the engineer side and then back to the finance, so it helped you a lot as well. I hope so. When everybody is going to the capital market, especially in the cryptocurrency, that they need to understand the finance, how the finance is working on, what is the trading as well. So can you tell me about your experience? Do you have an experience in trading market as well, Philip?
Yeah, so I started my career, in fact, in the banking sector in London almost 20 years ago in trading. In fact, I was interest rate and FX derivatives trader. You know, that's why I had
Mm-hmm.
to use my mathematical and analytical skills. But then I realized with time I was much more a salesperson. I like to face people and talk to people. You know, it's good to be in front of a computer, But sometimes after, let's say, 10, 12 hours in front of a computer, I missed, the human nature of the job. So that's why progressively I switched from trading to sales. And now I've been more like, advising family offices, advising funds, advising financial institution on their portfolio of investments.
Awesome, awesome. So, my last question, as a seasoned investor, are there any specific books, courses, or resources you recommend for those looking to deepen their knowledge in the field of investment and capital markets?
Look, in terms of course, obviously, any master of finance from a good, reputable university is good. But the easiest way, and in this part of the world, they love it, the CFA. The CFA for
Mm.
me, unfortunately, I don't have the CFA, but CFA is, the best exam by far, and they keep updating, the courses. So now in the CFA, I know that you have the ESG part is becoming more and more important. So CFA is still for me the best, I would say, and more uh, knowledgeable international diploma. And in terms of book, if there is only one book that I suggest, it is a book, in fact, which was originally published in 1949 by a US economist called Benjamin Graham. And the name of the book is The Intelligent Investor. They've done since several updates. I think the last one was about maybe 15 years ago. And guess who read that book when he was 19? Warren Buffett. And even until today, he said that it is by far the best book on investing I've ever read in my life. And look what Warren Buffett did in his life. He became like the wealthiest investor and most successful investor. And the beauty of that book, I read it, just like when I finished my Master of Finance. It also go, as I said, all goes back to fundamentals. So this book will teach you, how to think rationally, the difference between real value speculation. This is the real trading, the one-on-one. And unfortunately, people in this crazy world, they completely forgot the basics of investment.
I hope so. These two things,
Master of Engineering
CFA,
and the Master of
CFA
Finance.
course, yeah, the CFA course is the one thing which is we need to do in this current market, and the second thing is that we need to read the intelligent investor, right? The book.
Correct. Look, the CFA
Perfect.
takes 3 years to get the full diploma,
Yeah,
but
yeah, yeah.
when you have the CFA, then you have a really a good overview about the market.
Awesome, awesome. So thank you once again, Philip, for your valuable insights and participating in this podcast. Your experience and wisdom in the world of investment and capital market are sure to inspire and educate other people. Thank you once again, Philip.
Thank you, Salaf. I really appreciate it. Thank you
Thank
very much
you.
for hosting me in your podcast. Have a nice day. Cheers.